Hello friends, it's Katie back with another episode of my vlog, and it's Sunday again, so it's time for the first Cinema Club Sunday roundup of the new year. We actually only watched 4 movies this week, so this might be a little bit shorter than normal, but I don't know, sometimes when I say it's going to be a little shorter than normal, I just talk extra about each movie, so I guess we'll see. We actually started the week last Sunday with Wonder Woman 1984, but in an effort to not start my vlog with a very negative movie review, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that one till the end. So sit tight if you want to hear me hate on Wonder Woman 1984. But let's turn our attention to some good movies we watched this week, starting with Mother from 2009. This is the Korean film by Bong Joon-ho, of course, the director of Parasite, Snowpiercer, The Host, amongst many other great films. This is an incredible movie. I think it's Bong Joon-ho showing off what he does best. It's a thriller. It's about a mother who, she never has any other name in the movie other than Mother. And all of the actors in the film are incredible, but Kim Hae-ja, who plays the mother character, is, I mean, she's just unbelievable. She is such an incredible actress, and the role, she just inhabits it perfectly. She's like a traditional herbalist and a unlicensed acupuncturist, and her adult son, who is intellectually disabled, is accused of murdering a young girl in the village. And the mother character, not settling for this outcome of her son winding up in jail, after exhausting a couple of other avenues to try and get him released, she just basically goes out on her own to find the real killer in the story. I don't want to say much more than that, just because I don't want to spoil the plot at all, because as you guys know, I think if you go in cold on movies and don't know anything about them, it's actually better. But I know I got to sell you on some of these movies. So I don't know what to say about this movie, but if you loved Parasite, you will probably love Mother. It shares a lot in common. There's some similar themes. There's some similar shots. I noticed the cinematography actually was similar. I should have looked up who did the cinematography on both movies. I didn't. Oops, my bad. But this is an incredible film. We saw it, unfortunately, on Criterion Channel. The reason why we watched it this week was because I saw it was leaving at the end of the month. So it's now no longer available on Criterion Channel. And I don't actually know if it's available anywhere online for streaming, because I haven't looked. But you guys know where to find things, right? Even harder to find things, foreign things. I hope I'm not sending you guys on a wild goose chase by recommending this movie and then like you can't find it anywhere. But man, we super, super enjoyed this movie. All 4 of us, the adults, the kids, we just loved it. It's got a great way that the story unfolds. And like I said, all of the actors do an incredible job. The writing is really good. The editing is really tight. It's just a great film. It's a real gem, and it really comes together in a great way. I will say there's some parts that could be made a little bit shorter, and I do think that the director was doing that for immersive purposes, to really like put you into the place of the film. And I would have made some of the transitions and some of the scenes that are demonstrating certain things be a little bit shorter. The movie clocks in at 2 hours, and I think it could have done with a little bit of a trim. Maybe not all the way to an hour and a half, but like an hour 45 probably would have suited me like perfectly. But I didn't feel like the extra 15 minutes was like horrible to sit through or anything like that, if that makes sense. But that is like my only criticism of this film. Everything else, like I said, was basically completely perfect. 2 thumbs way up from everyone around here. Definitely go check out Mother. Again, from 2009, Bong Joon-ho, not Mother with an exclamation point after it. That is a totally different movie. And if you don't know that one and you love horror, you might want to watch that one. But boy, if you're not ready for some of the horrifying things in that movie, you don't want to watch that movie. So that's a totally different movie that we're not even talking about right now. So Mother, 2009, directed by Bong Joon-ho. Totally, totally recommend it. We've split it up over the course of 2 nights. And it was just a great time around here. Now, the next night after we finished watching Mother was actually New Year's Eve. And we have a pretty long-standing tradition of watching Godzilla movies on New Year's Eve around here. And Sean, for some reason, was like, I really want to watch a newer Godzilla movie. And I am the type of person, I definitely prefer the Showa era of Godzilla films, mid 50s to mid 70s. Those are the ones that I love watching. That's what I think of when I think of a Godzilla movie. The 80s, 90s stuff, no, it's okay. Once you get up into the Millennium era and beyond, it is, I am just not a huge fan of that stuff. So the one that Sean picked was from 2001. It was called Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. And in the initial setup of this film, it actually seemed like it was going to be pretty good. I was pretty excited when we sat down to watch it, despite that it's from 2001 and me having reservations about that. But then the film really disappointed me. Or rather, it made me totally feel justified in my biases against more contemporary Godzilla movies. It sucked. You guys, it was really not great. It started pretty strong. The plot just started fizzling right away. And as soon as they introduced the monsters, I knew there was a huge problem because there was a ton of CGI on the monsters. Now, you guys know I don't like CGI. I don't like obvious CGI, and I would always rather see a real thing, not something computer generated, even if the real thing looks cheesy. And so given the choice between a guy in a rubber suit Godzilla movie and a CGI Godzilla movie, I'm going to choose the guy in the rubber suit Godzilla movie every time. That's just what my tastes are. That's what I love. That's what I'm looking for in a Godzilla movie. This computer animation stuff that they had in this movie was so bad. I mean, it's 2001, so it just really hasn't aged well at all. And it just wasn't a good choice in the first place. The rubber suit monster movies, you can go all the way back to 1954 and they still look incredible. They're powerful. The monsters have presence. You feel like they're really there. This computer animated stuff, it just has no weight to it. It has no body to it. And it just, I don't know, it's a wrecker for me. So I'm like, just nope to this movie. I will also note that in this movie, they had King Ghidorah play like a heroic character. Like he's like one of the good guys instead of being a bad guy, which is just, that's not who he is. And they proportioned him weirdly and made all kinds of strange decisions about what the monsters actually look like. So for a Godzilla traditionalist like me, a 2001 Godzilla movie is never a good idea. It's always going to be risky business. But man, this one just made me feel 100% right in my rejection of 21st century Godzilla movies. So sorry, Toho. I think you guys were doing the right thing back in the day. I don't think it carries forward into the 21st century very well. So I'm going to say if you want to watch a Godzilla movie, go back and watch one of those early ones from the first 20 years of the franchise. There's a really incredible stuff there. And yeah, it's cheesy. And yeah, it's corny sometimes, but those movies are so good. And I never have trouble getting into them. I always completely suspend disbelief. And I truly believe I'm looking at monsters fighting each other, not guys in rubber suits. So that's me not recommending the movie that we watched on New Year's Eve and saying, if you want to watch Godzilla, go get one of them old ones. Really, it's the way to go with these movies. So the next night after that, we wanted to show the kids another movie that is a good movie, but the reason why we chose it was not because it was a good movie. It was because we really wanted to inspire them as potential young filmmakers. So I wanted to show them VHS, which is properly titled V/H/S. You guys know this film? It's from 2012. It is a found footage horror anthology movie. So there's like a frame narrative for the whole thing. These guys who do like prank videos and get paid for them are supposed to go on a job to some house and they're supposed to find some special tape at the house and they're supposed to give it to this guy who's going to pay them a lot of money. And the assumption is that there's material on the tape that the person's worried about being blackmailed over. But as soon as our guys get to this house, they realize there's a lot of other stuff going on. There's a dead guy in a room, just sitting in a chair, looking at a pile of TVs that are all on and hooked to VCRs. And there's all these mysterious VHS tapes in that room and elsewhere in the house. And so the characters in the frame narrative have to start kind of sorting through these VHS tapes and figuring out what's there. So as they start watching the tapes, of course, each time they put a tape into the VCR and start watching it, we, the audience, are then treated to another little mini movie in the form of whatever is on those VHS tapes. So you get, I think, 5 different short horror movies, low budget, all done in the found footage style. So it's a lot of shaky cam and running around and, you know, someone knocks the camera into something and it glitches out, or, oh, we're taping over other things. So it has that kind of short attention span theater feeling to it. But they do a pretty good job in this movie. You know, because it's 5 short films by 5 different directors, they all have a different feeling to them. They all have a different quality level, and it's really kind of a mixed bag. Some of them are a lot better. Some of them are kind of, whatever. But on balance, as a unit together, I think that VHS works pretty well. Is it the greatest film of all time? Like, recommended for cinephiles? No. But again, I want to inspire my kids about the potential for the medium. So they have been talking a lot about making their own short horror movies. And of course, this is going to be extreme low budget / no budget filmmaking. So I've been trying to pick movies for our viewing that can inspire them about that stuff, maybe give them ideas about different ways to do visual storytelling or convey an idea without necessarily showing something graphically, or with showing something graphically. But just kind of opening up their minds to different sorts of filmmaking styles and ideas, and particularly on the low budget horror end of things. Because that's what they're into. So if you're a horror fan, especially a low budget horror fan, I would definitely recommend VHS. There's a second movie, actually there might be a third movie in the series also, but the second one, VHS 2, is really good. I think it's even better than the first one. And I kind of wanted to show them the first one just so we could get to the second one. But I do think, again, like I said, there's 5 or 6 different narratives going on in VHS. And at least half of them are decently good and worth watching. Some of them are not as much, but I think it's worth sitting through the whole movie to get the good stuff from the good ones and have that whole viewing experience. So again, if you're a fan of horror, low budget horror, found footage style horror, you will love VHS. I would definitely check it out if any of those things that I just described are the type of thing that you're into. So, and now we come back to Wonder Woman 1984. You guys, have you watched this one yet? I'm going to just say don't. I was really excited to watch this movie. I knew it wasn't going to be that good, but I was really excited to watch it. And the reason I was really excited to watch it is because of the emotional lift that I got from watching the first movie. And now I will fully admit the first Wonder Woman movie isn't actually that good of a movie. As far as superhero movies go, it wasn't that great. And I don't even like contemporary superhero movies. I was going to say that much, but I think the answer is actually at all. But something happened for me, which I think happened for a lot of women, especially women my age, when I saw the first movie. I took the kids to see it in the theater, and you know, it was a decently fun action movie that I was enjoying throughout. But there is the shot in the first movie when Wonder Woman decides to run, you know, charge across no man's land and save the day, and she comes up the ladder out of the trench, and it's the first time in the whole movie that you see her with the full Wonder Woman costume on, and she's larger than life, you know, 50 feet high on this movie screen, and I just started weeping like a baby. And I couldn't believe the emotional response that I had to seeing this woman superhero that I had, maybe not been idolizing, but I'd been following the exploits of since I was about 5 years old. I had the underoos when I was a kid. Whenever I played superhero stuff with my friends as a kid, I always wanted to be Wonder Woman because she was the only female superhero worth anything. And there was the TV show with Linda Carter when I was a kid, and there was a Super Friends cartoon, but it took, 35 years for me to get the movie, the big budget blockbuster, larger than life on that giant screen movie. And when she came up out of that trench, I just lost it. I was like, wow, I didn't know I was missing that until I saw it, and it just washed over me and made me go, oh my God, representation matters, of course. I also got double whammied because having the star be a Jewish woman was, come on now. That was pretty incredible for someone like me. So that was the first movie, right? And that was the emotional experience I had around the first movie. I went and saw it again in the theater a week after I saw it the first time. Wasn't quite as powerful the second time, but it still affected me a lot. So when I heard they were making a second movie, I got really excited about it. And I thought, even if it is only half as good as the first movie, it's still going to pack a punch and really do something cool. And I really want to watch it just to get that emotional hit again of seeing Wonder Woman, a Wonder Woman movie. Oh my God, this is so cool. And the second movie was just complete garbage. I thought about making a list of complaints about this movie, but it would be longer than any vlog I've ever done. There is so much wrong with this movie. It's got terrible acting. It's got terrible writing. It's got god-awful costumes. Did these people live in 1984? They tried a little bit, a couple of those mall scenes. Oh, some people are wearing 80s fashion. Wonder Woman's hair, I'm sorry, but in 1984, the product did not exist to make her hair look like that. They could have Googled Jewish woman 1984 and looked at some hairstyles and realized how off the mark they were with this beautiful flowing, no tangles, no frizz, wavy, not curly hair that Gal Gadot has. It just, that hairstyle couldn't have existed in 1984. Her outfits were all wrong. The way people were acting was all wrong. It just didn't fit into 1984 at all. And I'm not it has to be perfect. The 80s world of Stranger Things, they did a great job. It wasn't perfect. There were a few little mistakes and things, but they did a great job of capturing the feeling of the 80s. This movie absolutely did not. It just, why set it in 1984? There was no point to it being set in 1984. It made no sense. Just terrible stylistic stuff in the movie. The computer-generated stuff is awful. It made it so there was no gravity or physics to anything. I didn't believe any of the superpowers, super fighting, super whatever. It was just awful. It was so bad. Halfway through the movie, I was like, is this a punishment? Am I in school being forced to watch a horrible movie that I don't want to watch? I should turn this off. But I didn't, because I have this if I start a movie, I should finish it because it might turn around at the end. I'm gonna give myself permission to turn movies off from now on. That was ridiculous. It's 2.5 hours long. It's 2.5 hours too long. This movie shouldn't exist. Terrible. Biggest waste of my time ever. I renounce my wish to watch Wonder Woman 1984. So hopefully I can save some of you. If you've been thinking about watching it, just don't. Even if you could stream it for free, it's not worth 2.5 hours of your life. It's just, oh God, it was so bad and it was so disappointing. And I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to watch any contemporary superhero movies anymore. I told Sean, I think the last big budget superhero movie I actually loved was 1978 Superman, or maybe Tim Burton's first Batman movie. But I have no business watching 21st century superhero movies. They just I told Sean and the kids, I was like, if I ever try to watch another superhero movie with you guys, just say, hey, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and I'll remember and then be like, oh, You guys saved me. All right. Okay. I have to calm down off that a little bit. But yeah, just stay the hell away from Wonder Woman 1984 is a huge, huge mistake for me to watch that movie. All right. And on that note, I'm going to ask if you guys watched any good movies this week, because I obviously watched 2 crappy movies this week. Do you guys have something to recommend for me? I need some new recommendations. We don't have any seasonal or thematic movies on our list right now, so got kind of a wide open playing field and we can watch whatever we want. I am excited. James was so thrilled by Mother, and on the heels of having watched Parasite, I guess 2 years ago now, he asked me if there were any other Bong Joon-ho movies, and I listed off a couple, and when I described The Host to him, he was like, ooh, I want to see that. So I think that's what we're watching tonight. So let me know down in the comments what you guys have been watching or what you're recommending for me to watch, because I always love new recommendations. And I will be back in a few more days with another episode of my vlog. Until then, everybody, stay safe and take care out there. And thank you so much for watching.